Hi guys, my name is Piotr Kubiński
And I'm Piotr Słowik.
and we are both part of Walkabout Games, which is a studio builder, a place where we help our fellow game developers grow and achieve their best. Piotr and we are both responsible for researching video games, also video games that are developed at Walkabout. We conduct tests, we analyze usability, interfaces, narrative layers of the games, and today we'd like to show you two things. First is Space Cows, a cheesy fiction game by Polish studio Happy Corruption, which is a part of Walkabout. And secondly, we'd like to present to you an excerpt of this feedback that we prepare for our fellow game developers. So let's have a look.
So what you can see here is a vertical slice of Space Cows. What you can see here is an early version of this game. We have made playtests on 9 participants. As you can see, we have used this pad viewer in the right corner of the screen, which shows how our gamers are using controls. Also, we can see a ghost of an eye tracking system, which is stop before C, and it gives us a much interesting information about where and when our users are watching the interface.
You know what I really love about Space Cows? It's its sense of humor. It's absurd, it's grotesque, it's very unique, and I believe it's a great selling point of this game.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, I've got a feeling that the selling point is not very efficiently communicated. I believe that it's very easy to understand it in the context of the setting of this game. The action of Space Cows takes place in space, right? Probably in some kind of space laboratory. And at the same time, plenty of our test attendants understood it as a kind of water environment.
One of the reasons is because, as you can see in the background, we have the water tanks. We had a lot of pipe which are pumping some kind of the fluid, we can presume. Also, even enemies looks like some kind of water bacteria.
We've got a polyp on the left, probably something like that. We've got octopuses, we've got water bacteria, as we could understand it. Apart from that, also the movement of the main character, the animation, might be understood as floating, as swimming in water, which is natural since the action takes place in zero gravity. But it might be misleading.
Yes, because most of the gamers doesn't have any experience with playing with this zero gravity environment, but they have a lot of experience playing water levels.
That's right. So the combination of those factors we've just mentioned leads to misunderstanding the context, and as a result, many of the players didn't get the jokes which are hidden in the game, which are absolutely adorable, if you ask me.
One of the questions that our designers wanted us to answer was, is this game too difficult?
Yeah, and the results of our tests were quite obvious. This game is incredibly difficult. I've played several games in my life, and very few of them were as difficult as Space Cows. And I believe there are several factors that contribute to this difficulty level. First, we've mentioned the controlling system, right? The controls of the game. And you can see it on the representation of the pad on the right side of the screen. To aim, you need to use right stick. To shoot, you need to use right trigger. And you need to do this at the same time. And at the same time, you need to move with left stick. Combination of those three elements is quite difficult.
And even if you're not using the left stick, the main character is moving.
Yeah. So also the way the main character moves, it's not very easy to control him. So it adds to this difficulty level. And what's more, also these enemies are really demanding.
Yeah.
For example, those. As you can see, as you can tell, even though I've played this game for several hours, I've got difficulties with beating those enemies.
You know, one of the reasons why this game is so damn difficult is because, you know, it's a vertical slice. So it's only a part of the game. It doesn't have finished onboarding system. So it should be difficult because it's the material that gives the potential publishers the experience of a final game. And this game will be addressed to hardcore gamers, but from our research we know that it's even too hard for hardcore gamers. So we think that our game designers should do something with the difficulty level.
That's right.
Okay, so if we're already speaking about the difficulty level, in most games designers tries to solve, for example, difficulties with controllers with good onboarding system. But in this game, our research shows that the onboarding which is now visible in the game is not enough.
Yeah, it's not sufficient, it's not very communicated. For example, we've just seen a clue on the interface that disappeared immediately, and we've had many examples of our test attendants struggling, for example, to beat this laser blockade because they actually didn't understand that they need to simply slide.
You know, and it's because they didn't see it. So we have two ways to solve this problem. One of the ways, which is rather old school right now, is to freeze a game for a moment that the user have opportunity to read the text, the hints that we are giving him. And the other way is, you know, to incorporate a good level design that will, in a natural way, teach user new techniques.
Yeah, obviously you could even present those information when the character is not being under attack.
Yeah.
When he can concentrate, when the player can concentrate on the information provided.
Yes, because most times the hints appear exact in the situation when the action begins.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's also a problem with the interface. Space Cow is a rather dynamic game, and as you can see, most interface elements are placed in the left, up and right corners of the screen. And the focus of the gamer is mostly on the main character or on the enemy. So they don't have a chance to follow the values of the interface elements.
Yeah, for example, me, when I play this game now, because I have so many elements, so many enemies on the screen, I really don't have time even to have a glimpse on those corners of the screen. So the interface doesn't help me at all.
You know, but if you are doing a game for hardcore gamers, you have to give them some kind of the feel of control.
We've got some collectibles in this game. For example, we can gather those white bubbles of milk. We can also gather golden wrenches, like the one we can see here. But honestly, the question I've been asking myself when I've been playing this game was, why should I even bother? What's the purpose? What's the benefit of getting all those wrenches and all these bubbles? The game doesn't give any information about that.
You know, I'm pretty sure that none of our playtesters really get what are those collectibles for.
Yeah, we've asked them this question, what's the benefit, what's the reason, and nobody had a firm answer to this question. Which is a problem, but again, I believe it's a problem that can be solved out quite easily.
You know, I think that the main problem is with the information layer of those collectibles, because you don't see any effect of collecting those. Okay, so we were asking ourselves, does our users are in flow when playing this game? And the answer was, they're not.
Yeah, the main problem here is that, as we've mentioned, this game is quite difficult, and if we want to have this feeling of flow, we need to give the players this feeling of progression, and that they need to be sure that they are actually able to use those abilities they learned during the gameplay. And for example, in this mini game, in this quick time event game, I've just scored 94 points.
And it's actually pretty good score, but we know it because we played this game like 100 times.
Yeah, well, honestly, it would be great to, for example, be able to compare it with your score or with scores of other players. It will be really rewarding to even see if it's better score than I achieved previously in my previous gameplay.
Yeah, so the game can tell you if you've done well or not.
And it's the same problem in the main gameplay. I would be very happy to see if in this gameplay I've gathered, for example, more milk bubbles. If I got farther than in the previous gameplay, for example, maybe I've beaten more enemies than previously. Having such an information would give me a feeling that I'm actually progressing, and it's something that is missing now in the game.
Also, one of the ideas that we can use here is because this game is mostly based on shooting, and the shooting is really difficult in it. Maybe it's a good idea to show the users, the accuracy of shooting.
Accuracy of shooting, and for example, the accuracy of dodging the attacks of your enemies. So there are many ways of solving this problem, and we'll be very happy to see the solution in the later version of the game. Mainly, there are issues on the communication level of this game. Would you agree?
Yes, I think so. Also, there's a minor problems with the difficulty level, which can be, I think, lowered down a little bit, because this game is satisfying for a person who played this game for a couple of hours. As you can see, you don't have any problems with shooting, with aiming, but most of our users had those problems even after like an hour of play.
So I honestly believe this game has a huge potential. It's very satisfying. And when the game designers fix those problems that we've talked about, it will be a really great and very satisfying production. And we'll be very happy to give you another look on this gameplay when it's fixed, when it's polished, and when the game reaches next milestone.
So, thank you for viewing. If you have any questions connected with the playtest or with the games that are developed in Walkabout, please don't hesitate to ask. Also, if you want to get any new information about the Space Cows or our other games or our research methods, please subscribe our channel.
Thank you for viewing. Cheers.
Thank you.